I mean, I like some Gaga songs, but what the fuck does she know about cameras?
What the does Steven Smith know about sneakers?
A little bit.
Kanyesposts, so find out. This is the weekly recap.
It's a full-time job. What is your favorite Gaga song?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably Poker Face.
That's what I'm going to look like the whole interview.
Excellent. That's what I got to put up.
I'm sorry that I have a little lipstick on my face. It was last minute. This man, the mayor of OC, Will, set it up. Thank you, Will. We're in a boardroom today in Laguna Hills. It's a Sunday. We should be at church. Do you go to church?
Occasionally. I hate the Pope. So until this Pope dies, maybe I'll go back.
Are you
after
Catholic?
that. Yeah. I mean, we got the...
Did you bring your rosary?
No, I have my Sunday service cross, and I wear it everywhere.
Oh, that's dope.
It was a Christmas present from him. One side is the cross, and then the other side is the Sunday service.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What did you get him for Christmas?
What did I get him? I don't remember.
Do you guys do like Secret Santas?
No, not all the time. You know?
I know you're in Laguna for a limited amount of time and you're excited about something, and it's not sneakers.
Oh, I came down here to get a spare body for one of my race cars, and it seemed to be a good time to swing through, and I let these guys know I was going to be here. So it's a very narrow window.
Well, thank you for stopping by. When the Pope dies, we can go to church together.
That's right. I'll go back to church.
But until then, I'm happy that you're here today. You've been following the page for a while, and a lot of the fans of Ye have been like, you need to get Steven Smith on the podcast. So I'm glad that we finally made it happen.
Magic somehow. With him being in Europe, we haven't been coming down to the LA area as often right now. So this just happened to work out.
Well, that was the first question a lot of people had on the page, was they wanted to know what you think happened on that boat in Venice the other day.
I don't think anything happened. It's like it's a double level boat, and Bianca was just sitting at the lower level, and Ye was sitting there up above when he got in the boat. I mean, no big deal.
Why are people so mad about a butt crack?
I don't know. Like I said, they could kiss my asshole. In fact, they can kiss my whole asshole. I don't care. What difference did it make in the world? Did anybody live or die? Who the fuck cares? He's Ye.
Plumbers have been doing it for centuries
Yeah.
And nobody's mad.
Not just plumbers, all sorts of people. I always want to slip a wrench down in there or pop a piece of toast in, You never know.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't believe how many news outlets covered that story. And then they said they were banned from Italy forever for accidentally showing a butt crack. Speaking of boats, I read in a comment online, someone asked you if you drew inspiration from sneakers through boats, and I think you wrote yes.
Yeah, this one kid went nuts, like, oh my God, he gets inspiration from boats. It's like, it's from fucking everything. Come on. Anything that's a beautiful design or an object of desire, that's what we create. A lot of the kids collect this stuff as art, which is great, but also at the end of the day, it's functional, it's wearable, accessible art. That's what I love about it so much. When I was in design school and graduated, and I went to go get to my first job at New Balance, all the other kids in my department, they all went to like computer companies or appliance companies or medical devices. And like, I went to design sneakers and they all mocked me. And I'm like,
what?
Well, it was new.
A catheter designer was shaming you?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, okay, so you designed something, and maybe 20 doctors in operating environments around the world see it. I said, I designed something and I can go anywhere in the world and see it on somebody. And millions and millions of stuff I've designed, I can go anywhere,
right now.
Yeah, we can ride in the waves.
Can you get that camera stencil? Make sure you get a close up on her.
Mine are pretty beat though, because
I
it's like my go-to pair.
I love that color.
I like them too. Luckily, I have a second pair. So.
Well, must be nice, Steven.
Well,
I had to buy this with the money Trump was giving us during the pandemic.
Excellent.
So
Good
now
news.
you know how much money I made in 2020.
Somebody made that comment about the 500 military boot that just came out, and like, must be nice to get him to free. It must be nice to get him for free. And I'm like,
Oh, great. I'm just like that guy.
I didn't get him for free. I bought these myself off of Goat because, and the quote I put on there is, the only thing Adidas has given me since the breakup is migraines. So, yeah, I have to buy them too.
How are you handling the Adidas split?
I just ignore it all and just move forward.
Excedrin.
Yeah, keep designing new stuff. That's their loss. What else can you say?
Well, I did feel like there was like a shift in attitude. Like at first they were like, we're totally cutting him, it's done. And then they're like, well, now we're going to give a portion of the sales.
When you have a $2 billion deficit on your bottom line, you might be rethinking what you did and your approach. That's all I'll say.
That's enough of the Adidas. I'm not going to grow you too hard. But if you were the CEO of Adidas, what would you have done differently?
I'd have figured it out and listened to the people around Ye. A lot of us gave them advice on what to do and what not to do, and they chose to ignore it. And they're living with the result of that.
It kind of sucks now because, I went to the mall to find an outfit recently and like I couldn't buy Adidas.
Yeah.
I couldn't buy Gap. Couldn't buy Stout, Ari Emanuel's wife's brand. And then I was like, you know what? Now I see why Bianca's wearing pantyhose.
Yeah.
Because Ye's broken up with too many people recently. So it's like, no wonder.
I still wear some of my Yeezy Gap stuff, I don't know. It was, you can't erase the fact that it was nice stuff and that we generated it. You have to look at it that way. Same with the Yeezys. I mean, but I've been wearing more of my New Balances. The 550 is one of the hottest shoes in the market, and that blows me away.
But he's not mad at New Balance.
No. He likes New Balance. He likes Jim Davis. Because Jim Davis has done a great job of growing New Balance to be a very big competitor and keeping it all private still.
What do people call you? The daddy
the Godfather of Dad Shoes.
Godfather of Dad Shoes.
They wrote this article about me and they just asked me all about it. They didn't tell me what they were going to call it. And it's when it first came out, I'm like, Godfather of Dad? What the fuck? I'm like, I've done more than that stuff. I do all this technical stuff. I did all these Olympic spikes for the athletes. I did shoes that Paula Radcliffe broke the world record in women's marathon in. Like fucking dad shoes?
I haven't seen that. I've only seen the dad shoes in the news.
Yeah, and I did all of this technical product. And even that New Balance stuff when it was new was meant to be high performance running product. It's just, it's dated. But the aesthetics weren't dated, but the performance goals and function were dated compared to the technology that's in running shoes now. But like I always say, I try to make the best product possible at that moment in time for the company that I'm working for. And the proof is in the pudding, and the proof is in the fact that all of these products still coexist after 37 years of this. And, the New Balances are amazing. I never sit down and go, I'm designing an icon today.
You never can tell. You don't have an intuition like this is going to be the shoe.
No, I just know that it's right when it's done, but they take on a life of their own after, and it just proves that I did a good job.
What shoe surprised you the most?
Probably the Nike Spectrum when Supreme picked that one, the one with the flames. That one was amazing because, at Nike, I got fired because I got aged out. I was 42.
That's too old. That's their limit.
I was way too fucking old for them at 42. And they cast you aside as this used up old designer. And of all the thousands of shoes Nike has in their archive, what one did Supreme pick? My fucking shoe. And it's like, dang. Okay, so you thought I was used up, but you're going to pimp my old work?
I had no idea. I thought it was just Hollywood that cast out 40-year-olds. I didn't know it was Nike.
And that's the thing. When Ye hired me, he's like, how the fuck could Nike let someone like you go? You're the collected vessel of knowledge of this industry. You're priceless.
Well, that's a great compliment.
It was nice. It was nice to be respected.
How did you meet Ye?
It was the strangest thing. I was working at Keen, and things weren't going well between me and the owner. We're still very good friends. We were always good friends, but what he asked me to do was not what I thought I should be doing. So I just, one afternoon, I just said I quit and walked out. And I really didn't know what I was going to do, but I wasn't doing that. And I went home and my wife was like, how was work? I said, I fucking quit. And she's like, what? And I'm like, well, I just can't do that anymore. She said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. I really don't know. And 2 weeks later, this random New York number came up on the caller ID. I normally don't answer the phone if I don't know the number. And I picked it up and it was Ye.
Whoa.
And he was like, Mr. Smith? I said, yeah. He goes, hi, it's Kanye West. I'm like, what's up? Why are you calling me? And he's like, I want you to come design with me. I know who you are. I know the things that you've done. I really want you to come design with me.
That is divine timing.
Yeah, totally. I told him that. I said, I was at Keen, which is kind of like mid. I had worked at Nike. I had worked at Adidas before. And you're kind of in a dark spot, because Nike cast you out as old. So now all of a sudden you're tainted everywhere else.
That's I never even knew that was a thing.
Yeah. And then, and also agent provocateur, much like Ye. And that's not accepted in the corporate world. But they want your work. They want your million pair program designs, but they don't want to put up with the personality of the individual that creates that.
I can see why you and Ye get along.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're also a disruptor.
Yeah, we're a lot alike in a lot of ways. And so I said to him, I'm like, I said, I'll think about it, but I don't want to move to California. I said, if I can stay living in Oregon and come work with you, I'll do that. And he said, whatever you want. Then he called me the next night, and then he called me the next night, and then he called me every night until I finally agreed to come see him in person.
What did your wife think?
Well,
was she a fan of his music?
Yeah, yeah. When that first call came in, I was supposed to go get the kiddo at aftercare, and I texted me like, "Can you pick up the kid at aftercare tonight?" And I was like, "I can't right now. I'm kind of on the phone with Kanye West." And she just sent back, "What the fuck?" And I said, "I'll tell you when you get home." She goes, "Yeah, you will." And he's like, "Why? How did he get our number? And what's he want?" And I'm like, "He wants me to come design with him."
And is this before he was started the shoe thing?
No, it was 2016. So
he was already doing it.
The 350 had just launched, and he was looking to do the next.
And then what was the first shoe you designed?
So the Wave Runner was the first one I worked on with him. And
what was that process like? How does the collaboration with Ye work when it comes to a shoe?
Well, that one was wild. He asked me to bring a bunch of my old work, and I just brought a bunch of sketches, and he's like, "Oh, that's fire. That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. Let's do them all." I'm like, "Okay, sure, whatever." That was refreshing and new, as opposed to being sent back to committee, and this asshole will tell that asshole how he doesn't like that, and then that asshole tells you to go back to the drawing board, and you're like, "What the fuck did I just spent 3 months drawing if you gave me misdirection and you can't make up your mind on what we're going to do?" And so this was refreshing, like, "Oh, let's make it all." And you're like, "What?"
He liked all your ideas as opposed to criticizing every little detail of one.
Yeah. And so we kind of started hybridizing it. So then I came home and I would scan my drawings, email them to him. He would have them altered in Photoshop or mix this up and that up, and then send them back to me, and I'd redraw them and send it back to him, and then he would have it done again and send it back to me, and I would redraw it again and send it back to him. And through 48 hours over a weekend, out of it came the Wave Runner.
That's not too long of a time.
Well, I mean, we had worked on the initial sketching of the greater concepts for a couple of weeks, but that one was done in 48 hours, and I finally told him, "Dude, I gotta fucking go to sleep. I'm old."
That's feedback I hear often, is that people get tired.
It's exhausting and exhilarating all at the same time. That's what's so cool about it.
The excitement and the adrenaline keeps you going.
Yeah, for me, I've always been a pleaser. And that's what frustrated me in the corporate world. There's no fucking pleasing anybody. At Nike, I answered to 5 different people I didn't know which one was who I answered to.
Right.
One person was in charge of your bonus. One person was in charge of your raise. One person was in charge of your career path. One person was in charge of your projects. And what do I want this season? Do I want a raise? Do I want a bonus? Do I want the project to go through? And that's what you had to decide. You couldn't please them all. It was crazy. And at some point it drives you crazy where you're like, what am I doing? And it was different with him. I'm a pleaser, so it was just.
People would say Ye's hard to please.
It depends on who you are, and
if you're good, it sounds like he's not.
Yeah, and the creation process with him is magic, and out of that 48 hours came this shoe, and I didn't know what he was asking me to do because the 350 had just launched, and that had set the new direction. And one piece, knitted, simplistic, minimalist. And then he's asking me to do this thing with all these pieces and old school overlays and busy midsole. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but something magic is happening with all of it. And it just started to gel and come together. And when we were done with it, you saw this thing and you're like, holy shit, that's actually really cool. And everybody was still nervous about it. Even when we did the first tease and he wore some of the prototypes, people were like, what the fuck is that? That's not the new 350. And it cast a lot of doubt. But when I work on my projects, there is one point where you get a vibe like, this is it. I'm doing the right thing, and I will continue that right thing until completion, no matter who tries to subvert it, divert it, send it here, criticize it. Like, I'm going there, that's it. And because you can see it now, that's the right thing. And when that thing was done, it was like, fuck yeah, that's it. And at the end, he and I were having a little talk about it. And I said, when you first asked me to do, I had no idea what you were asking me to do. And he's like, you know what I did? I said, what's that? He goes, I made you design your iconic New Balance shoes as if you were still working at New Balance 36 years later.
So it's like the updated version.
Yeah, it's that the DNA of it, infused with him, infused with me. And out of it came this thing that a lot of people now consider that like the most iconic Yeezy shoe, or definitely top 2 with the 350.
Which shoe do you like the most? The ones you're wearing? I feel like I see you in those a lot.
I like the OG Wave Runner color. I like the 500s. The funny thing about the 500, when I was working on that one with him, the first upper sketch was kind of a running shoe, and then when he asked us to explore it with update of the Kobe tooling of the feet you wear, it all started to make sense. It was never meant to be gender specific. Like at the bigger companies, you're like, oh, we're doing this women's model, then we're doing this men's model. The 500, all of ours are just Yeezy. And that one in particular, on the initial sell-ins, it was probably almost 60% women, 40% men. And
was that because Kim was wearing it?
It could be. I don't know.
I remember seeing that shoe mostly on women.
And it looked really cool on women, with the chunky, the rounded shapes. It seemed like when you saw women in it, it just seemed like natural on them, and I think
tons of, even like Joa Brown, they always use that shoe in their models.
Yeah, it was wild to see the numbers after the fact. You're like, wow, I never intended it or segmented it, or, that's what's so funny, in the real world of sneakers, everything's fucking committed and briefed, and you go focus groups, and everything's just like total recipeed and formulated to death. This is just freeform creation, and some of that stuff just naturally happens.
Well, that's why these are the most popular shoes and why you're seeing them everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's and each one, I mean, there's been a few that have kind of overlapped in aesthetics, but all the ones that I've touched and I've done with him, each one is an individual piece. You look at it, there's no branding. We don't have to lame out like Nike or Adidas and have to put like, oh, this is the 500, and then this is the 300 that takes some of the look for the 500.
Well, yeah, people love that there's like no logo on it.
Yeah, but it's not just the logo, but each individual one is its own expression and art piece. Like the 700 looks nothing like the 500, looks nothing like the 350 or the 380. The essence of the design lives by itself. It doesn't have to live on that crutch of the branding, the logo. You know, that's what's so magic about it. It's unlike anything else. And these companies in the bigger corporations,
Well, they can't compete.
they can't compete because they cannot operate like that and think like
Too many
that.
cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's that, but it's also a formula. This is the way
There's
it's
too
done.
many rules. Too lawful.
Well, this you just have to let it flow around you, and he considers me the vessel of the DNA of what Yeezy and Donda is, and he always considers me his eyes and hands. So it's very nice. It's very nice to be respected at that level. And again, I said I'm a pleaser, so I want to please him. I want to give him the best of what I can do, and that's what I've done. And the product speaks for itself when it comes out. And I hate to use the corporate word of product, but I mean product as the end result of what we've done, the product of our actions and our activities.
Are you going to be part of all of the shoe socks that we're seeing on Ye in Italy and Europe?
I can't talk a lot about that, but there's definitely some influence into all of it.
I've already seen a lot of the Ye fans are already wearing the ones they bought on Amazon that look like his.
the water sports socks.
They look cool with a jogger pant. But I'm already seeing the Ye fans adopt the jeggings.
Yeah.
Are you going to be wearing that, Stephen?
Absolutely not. I could have made some.
I was hoping you were going to walk in today with black jeggings on.
Yeah, no, that's not me.
And a pantyhose on your head.
No, all I got on is I got my Kimes Ranch Made in America jeans. That's what matters to me.
You don't have to wear all the product you create, but you're also dodging the question. Or do you think shoe socks are the future?
I can't say,
Or are we boycotting shoes altogether? Is it going to be barefoot?
No, I don't think it's that. It's like minimalism. That's what it boils down to.
Has Ye told you why he's barefoot?
No.
Have you asked?
No.
Have you copied that yet?
No.
Well, in Hawaii, they do it.
Yeah, I know, but I was raised by the Queen of Clean, my mother, and kind of OCD on disease, and it just makes me cringe to see him barefoot walking down filthy streets.
A lot of the Ye fans will defend him, though, and say, it's grounding.
Yeah.
He's getting closer to nature. He's grounding after all the trauma with Adidas.
It's funny how much I've seen that as a comment on grounding.
You've seen it, right?
Yeah, I guess I could say this. I made him a pair of grounding 350s that all had kind of silver thread embedded contact patches that went from the ground up to the footbed and then to the socks. It all interfaced.
Is that the thing you told me about to put on my...
Yeah, you use the ecstatic yarns to make your body conductive.
Yeah, so essentially I can't use my phone to take a selfie. So he was like, you should put this thread here.
Yeah.
As if I'm just going to know how to do that.
Why not?
Like I can't even figure out what shoes to wear. You're like creating the shoes that people wear. To me, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I make a lot of the prototypes myself.
Do you dream of these ideas? You just get an intuition? You just start drawing?
It's hard
What's your process?
It's hard to explain. Sometimes I have the idea what to create. Sometimes he sends me a random image of something and I just riff off of it. It may not necessarily be a shoe. It could be something completely abstract, and I'm left to interpret it and filter it and add that DNA strand of what is Yeezy into it.
We have two people that are going to be joining us. Who wants to go first? I think we're going to bring in Will, mayor of OC. How do you know this guy? I just met him today.
It's funny. He reached out to me a couple years ago, and we just kind of became friends. And then I guess he's a big supporter and big fan. And Will asked me to come down, and they gave me some Orange County Icon Fashion Award, which was a good fun event, and it was kind of cool because Will finagled some fun little treats for us while we were down here, like an Aston Martin for the week.
Dang, Will.
Shout out Aston Martin, Newport Beach.
Yes, definitely.
What color?
Oh, it was the James Bond edition, silver with the black top. And Christian Tresser and I used it like a dragster through downtown LA between every traffic light.
Imagine he gave you a Corolla. Would you even be in this room?
Hey, no, I just believe you got to give honor to where honor's due, and I feel like a lot of times when people are like they want to meet whatever there is, they kind of forget what creates that machine. And so I've always been a big on like the people around them, like fostering that energy.
Well, I hope he didn't show up in that mask because that would impair vision, I think, when driving.
I clearly did not show up in the mask at all.
Will actually asked Steven to wear this mask earlier, and he said it was...
He said no. He said it's...
It's Billy Gibbons, man. Look, it's like ZZ Top if he had it on his head. If you watch ZZ Top, he wears that swim cap.
It's too rock and roll.
Yeah.
Steven said it's mid, so you know.
Wow, Steven, you think ZZ Top is mid?
No. The look, the aesthetic, you know, it's not my thing. I mean,
it'd be weird if you
it'd
were in
definitely
that
be
mask.
strange.
It
wouldn't surprise
it's
me.
not
at
minimal
times,
at
but
all. For sure.
Yeah. You know, I just got my hat. I'm fine.
It'd be funny to see you guys switch looks.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
Opposites are out. Yeah, my brother's here. He always says it's funny when people do the opposite of what they look like.
Well, I think you'll just have to imagine that one because it ain't happening.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. People like my good looks, so I gotta get right.
Hold your mic down.
I gotta get
Someone did not commit to the bit.
Nah, hey, that's your
It got
position.
hot, didn't it?
It got way too
It gets
hot.
really hot.
My sister can do it for like hours.
So I think your sister also had some type of bedazzled mask that she posted.
She had a bedazzled mask and she has like a whole bodysuit.
Do you know why Ye started with the mask? Did he ever tell you why?
No. Yeah, it's what he wants.
I thought what I've researched is that it was like so he didn't have to worry about like the audience and he was just like performing for God.
I think he
That's
said
what I
like he doesn't
thought.
want people to worry about his angles and they're just
Yeah.
focusing on the words.
Yeah.
Are you
Ask.
in Yeezys right now?
I am unfortunately not because I didn't know what to wear.
Big
and,
mistake.
and,
Bastard.
and every time I'm in front of Steven, I like the past couple of times I'm like,
do
is
you
it cool to
fi-
wear?
I felt like it
It's-
was. I feel like
you know?
Steven would want me to wear them.
Yeah, no,
I didn't even think twice.
Plot twist, I did not know and like until like this morning, right? I had church or whatever, so
It is
I just
kind of
wanted-
weird. Like you pull up and you're wearing what that person designed, and then you don't say it.
Fanboys.
Yeah, I don't want to be too much of a fan because every time, like, the first time I met him, I was in like a complete like Jesus is King fit, like the what
blue
is that?
one?
It was the Easter Sunday service fit. I
Yeah,
had
the
completely
Coachella
on.
one.
The
Wasn't
Coachella fit I
Yeah,
had on, and then I did the other like Jesus Christ black one.
kind of like the washed eggplant
Yeah.
color. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that when people show up and they're like dressed like Ye?
It's all right. You know, you're appreciating the aesthetic.
appreciating
That's
the
fine.
art.
Yeah.
And I imagine they're fans because they like the clothes, so they bought them, so they want to wear them.
Yeah, there's definitely some fringe fans.
Let's talk about that.
The French.
What
fan.
defines a fringe fan?
I was a French fan.
over
What is
the
French?
over the top, you know, like all right, I get it. You like us, you like him, you like what we do.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah, that's what's so non-Orange County for me to like over the top it. You know what I mean? Like it's like got to be conversational.
A lot
That's
of
why
times I feel
dig with-
weird that I'm not like dressing like his aesthetic enough, but I just don't look good at it. Like I'm
This
green
is his
girl.
aesthetic. Like you got like the circular, like the army, we're ready for war. You know what I mean? Type vibes going on.
Well, I would assume that people around him, like Steven, like they just dress like themselves and they add value in that way.
Not everybody gets to. There was definitely some uniform phases, and
Oh yeah, there was like dress code, right?
I get to wear what I want
How did you get to defy that law?
because I'm me.
What was it about
because
you,
Steven Smith is
Steven?
him.
When I first started to go work with him, I asked him. I said, "Yo, you want me to cock my cap a little sideways and droop my drawers down a little bit?" And he's like, "No, you stay you."
I think that's the
sauce
cool
you bring.
part. Like,
So
you-
maybe the people that don't bring sauce have to wear the uniform.
I think so. Yeah.
bring the sauce.
If you're flavorless.
If you're flavorless and you haven't figured your own thing out yet, you've got to wear the uniform.
Yeah. And then it got really cool for 9 months. It was going to be a whole year. The guards took fit pictures of what all of his creatives had on every day, front, side, and back. And he looked at it every night. And we were going to put together a book of a year in fits of Ye's creatives. It was going to be really cool. But then the main iPad that it was on got stolen. So
No iCloud backup.
no, it was cool though. It was really cool. And all of a sudden, so I started to dig out some of my vintage clothes and stuff, and you'd wait between 7:30 and 8. You're looking at your phone. Come on. And then at 7:45, bro, I love your fit. I'm like, yes.
Oh yeah, you're a big vintage guy.
Yeah.
Because originally I wanted to do this at a vintage shop.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
Maybe next time I could get a
But
vintage
we
shop.
wanted to, actually the reason you're here today is we wanted to bring back that trauma from your corporate life in the boardroom. Does this remind you of being back in the corporate world
This room, yeah,
with a bunch of weirdos staring at you,
yeah,
criticizing you?
yeah. And the funny thing is, in my current role, I was at Nike, and there it's just the whole corporate world is just so fucked up and on the wrong path, and the wrong things matter. And when you're there, you become a director. So, you go from a cube to an office with a door, right? And then senior director, you might have a slightly larger office. VP, you get your own individual conference room, right? And an even bigger office, and maybe a refrigerator with some Diet Pepsi in it, right? And so for me, I'm essentially a corporate officer for Donda. And people are like, what's your office like? I said, take a look at that fucking backpack on the floor. That's it. That's all
you need.
The world is your office.
That's right. That's all I need. An iPad, my phone, backpack, occasionally some paper and pen, and a Sharpie. You always have to have black Sharpies. And that's it. Measuring tape.
I tried office corporate world I think I lasted 2 days. I felt like my energy was like overtaking everyone's cubicle, and I just like had a spaz attack. And I quit.
It's soul stealing. And then when I got fired by Nike, the first week was like, it's very cult like. I felt like I was with the Rajneeshi or Jim Jones. And you're like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? And then the next week, you're like, you shake it off. Like, there's nothing fucking wrong with me. Look at all that stupid shit they made important that means nothing in the real world.
Right.
And it was a total realignment of my mind. And it definitely prepared me for this of like, what do you got? Bring it. Let's go. If you don't do, you've done nothing. And if you've done nothing, you've failed. And if you never try and maybe it doesn't work, you've still not really failed. You've made the attempt. You've had a learning point. You've learned, one way not to do it, and you can then move on to the next way to try and get something done. But if you've never made the effort, you've already fucking failed. You've given up. Fuck that. There's too much to do in the world. There's too much to explore. There's too much to create. There's too much to invent.
I think my brother's getting a lot out of this podcast because he works at the NFL in a cubicle, and he's a real creative he's an artist, and I can tell he's probably going to quit after watching this episode.
Well, you give so much meaning to pop culture, Steven, what you and Ye do, and you know what I mean? You guys add taste and value. Like, even doing this isn't like I didn't have to talk to like 1,000 managers to like get you. When I was like 13, 14, I couldn't listen to 50 Cent. You know what I mean? For a guy like me from Orange County, like, what do you listen to? 50 Cent, you're gonna be a gangbanger? It's like Kanye, and through divine providence and how he dressed and the style, and I, learned how to carry myself as a man of color, and I could still be edgy and still be a part of the cool kids, but like I didn't have to be dangerous, right? I could still be myself, and that's what Kanye's like fights for. I believe that's what you fight for. You fight for the person that's like in the corner, the person that's not like everybody else, so that they could have a seat at the table of conversation.
Yeah, and you bring up danger. It's like he's one of the most dangerous men on the planet because he's a free thinker.
Yeah.
And that's more dangerous than, his brain is the most dangerous weapon you can have.
And so is his butt crack. I mean, I've never seen. They must have felt something with that. It's like danger zone.
Oh my God.
How do you deal with when you're on your own and there's all these like opinions around you and they're all trying to like
Fuck them. Don't listen.
how do you tell people like fuck off?
You tell them fuck off. You rise above it. It makes you tougher. You're like, oh yeah, fuck you. Watch this. Hold my beer. And that's what I've been known for in the product that I've designed and the attitude that I have. There's a lot of people who think I'm a fucking prick and I don't care. Fuck you.
I thought you're like the nicest guy ever. Your vibe online.
Well, I am.
But I'm also not your boss.
Exactly. But also, what are you willing to tolerate? That's at the end of the day.
Right.
What is your goal? There are a lot of people who their goal and their measure of achievement is money. And, I could have sucked it up and been a tool and give people what they want in the corporate world, not the consumer, not the fans or what they're looking for in the product. That's what I deliver. That's what makes me happy, is creating. The money will come. I'm not a millionaire, but I don't fucking care. I get to do some fun things of what I want to do, but I create.
Yeah, what's it really going to change?
And the ability to freely create is priceless. And that's one of those things I've been blessed with Ye. He believes in you more than you believe in yourself a lot of the time. So he's asking me to do something like, why do you want me to do that? He goes, because I know you can. And I'm like, but should I? And he said, but you can do it. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And he's right. And a lot of times it's liberating.
Yeah, Shane Cashman described him as having psychotic optimism.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you gotta be to do what we do, to do what Steven does. You gotta rise to the level of being like, I hate to say the buzzword crazy, but you gotta go to be a little bit insane to create the world that they create, right? Like a normal, sane human being wouldn't do the pod, wouldn't create sneakers, wouldn't do what Ye does, wouldn't do what I does, because it's not normal. But when you get to that level of insane is where you meet success, where you meet progress.
Well, I think I'm there. I've gotten to the insane part. Now it's about figuring out the rest.
It's always a balance,
How do you stay sane?
Race cars, do more drawings and create woodworking, build guitars, shoot guns, all kinds of crazy
hobbies.
Shit. Yeah. Outlets. The car racing, I think, is one of the most Zen-like experiences for me, because it's you and the machine, and you can die.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, be careful out there.
I always tell anybody on the Yeezy team when I'm going racing, it's like, please don't text me or call me this weekend. I'm focused. If I lose focus, literally, I can die. We've had a few people die in the last 2 years, and it's amateur racing. It's not like pro racing. But we wear all the same safety equipment. But at the end of the day, there is that reality that I could die doing this. But it's the escape. There's nothing. It's you and the machine, the track, and the cars around you, and everything goes away, and it's almost like tunnel vision of like the focus, and then you're focused on any strange sound or action the car is making. You're totally in tune with it. I don't know. It's hard to describe till you've done it.
Well, and that sounds scarier than any of the other things we're describing.
Yeah. I mean, you're going 120 miles an hour on a closed course. I've had the car light on fire on me.
That's crazy.
Blown up engines, spin sideways. Luckily, I've never rolled it. The original owner in the 60s, he rolled the car up in Seattle, and he was hanging upside down.
Is this going to be the fastest one yet that you're getting this weekend?
Yeah, this one's scary.
I'm worried.
I am too.
Is anyone else scared?
I'm actually excited.
You are? Should we have Jen come in?
Yeah. Come on, Jen.
No, just do the podcast.
She's a
You
lot
guys
more-
can share.
she's a lot
Why
more
don't you
ex-
guys,
she's
you
a lot
guys
more
want to
exciting
share a
than me.
chair and just
We
share the
can
mic?
share a chair.
Or just bring that. You can bring that.
I'll let her do her thing.
you hear-
Hello, here I am.
is
Well, see, we overlap in our punk rock attitude
So,
and mindset.
Jen, want to tell everyone what I'm wearing today?
This is a boho rocker collection. I have my own clothing line, and it has like that rocker vibe, boho edge.
It's kind of more Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga,
Like what
whatever,
we-
whatever you guys think.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice vibes.
Yeah,
all
I'll
the
stand
things.
up.
It's like to the ground.
Do we need to change your jacket? Is that what we need to do?
You wanna
Yeah,
change
let's.
it?
I don't. That's not edgy enough. We need to get rid of that one.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to be more of a rock
Well, I
star.
wanted to be professional because
Okay.
Steven, I didn't know he was such a daredevil. Now I'm going to put on my race car jacket.
Yeah, no. Since we're talking about cars, right? A wardrobe change.
My brother said I look like country rock star. Who's like the edgiest country rock star?
That's a good question.
Steve's
Are
car.
any of them edgy? I'm like Carrie
Kid Rock.
Oh.
I was just listening to Kid Rock this morning, Cowboy.
You have a wild life.
Yeah, he does. He has a really wild
There's
life.
a
I wanna
lot
ride
more
in the
to
car.
Steven Smith than people realize.
He's all reserved.
He
and,
might
like,
be
you don't
wilder
really
than
know.
Ye, honestly. He might be more dangerous. We don't know. Danger.
Danger. Watch
So,
yourself.
how do you guys know each other? And also,
Um,
thank you for bringing jackets for me today. Where can we find your
Absolutely.
shop?
I roll with jackets all the days. I have a website, bohorockercollection.com. So everything is online.
And you met because you did something with a mask, and then Steven
Well,
was doing.
didn't we meet through the OC Fashion Week?
OC
thing?
Fashion Week,
Yeah.
when Will invited
Originally.
him. That was the first time. And then after that, I was invited back to OC Fashion Week to do my own brand on the runway. And I was going through a divorce. I'm like, I want to be super edgy. I want to be different. I want to stand out. And Steve was like, I reached out to Steve about his masks, the Donda masks. And then
Okay.
we incorporated them into the runway, and I had like whips, chains, lingerie, and it really cut through in Orange County.
Yeah, it was a cool, the vibe she wanted to get across. I just thought it made sense to send some of those down and have that kind of connection with the outfits.
Because you guys have like different styles, but you were still able to come together. Well, I guess
Yeah.
some of the Donda stuff is like edgy rock and roll.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, people forget, like, I was a straight edge punk, still am fairly straight edge lifestyle. It was a lifestyle choice back then, and I've continued it through the rest of my life. But I'm an old straight edge punk dude.
Oh, you're a punk?
Yeah.
What was your favorite band?
Probably the Meatmen back then. I don't know if you know them, out of Detroit. Although DC, Tesco moved all around between Detroit and DC. And then MC5, because they were the proto-punks to everything. And Stooges, Iggy at his prime.
I don't know like any of these bands.
Me either. I was trying to pretend I did.
like,
I was like,
Circle
I know,
Jerk.
that's
I've heard of it.
awesome. I'm like,
Circle
I have no idea.
Jerks.
I'm like, is that Iggy Pop?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Murphy's Law.
I'm all, yeah.
Were you in a mosh pit?
Yeah, he was for sure. He looks
Oh,
like
yeah,
it.
I was right up front. It was funny. I went to go see the Butthole Surfers in Boston.
My brother knows them.
Of course he does.
at the channel, and it's very funny. My brother is a computer science professor, so he was there. I was in my punk clothes. My brother was there in his Savile Row suit from London because he had just gone to a meeting at MIT. And he's like, "Hey, I'm in town. I'm great. I'm going to this concert tonight. You want to go?" So he looks like a professor with his Poindexter glasses and buzz cut and his 3-piece English custom-made suit. And he's like, "I'll come up front with you." And the music started. He's like, "Fuck this. I'm going to get killed. I'm going in the back." So I stayed up in the front for a little while. And that was a funny thing, too. When I first started at New Balance, they didn't know what, I came as me, and they really didn't know what to make of this kid. I had gone to see the Circle Jerks that week, and I came in. I probably had an hour of sleep, and I came in just all beaten and bruised from being down in front. And they're like, "What the hell happened to you?" Right? And I'm like, "Oh, I went to a concert last night." They're like, how was it? I said, amazing. And they're like, look at you.
Well, now I see why you and Jen collabed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to do some more collaborations. That's what we need to do.
Jen said she had like whips and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this
I
isn't
was
like bondage.
on the
shit.
runway
It's
with
punk.
Boho Rock
Were you
Function.
someone that was like surfing the crowd or holding people up and getting
A little bit of both. You know,
Yeah.
I had one fucker put his foot on my forehead trying to propel himself across the stage. So I yanked it like that. And I think
Oh.
I might have broken his ankle because he disappeared after that.
Never came back.
Yeah, you know, that's nice and all. You want to crowd surf, but my head's not a launch platform. Sorry.
He should have been barefoot.
Yeah, the diseased filth would have been on
Less
my head.
impact, but gross.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
on a sticky club floor, you know.
Jen, how are you and Steven gonna collab in the future?
I don't know, but we're
Yeah,
going
we
to do
don't know.
something. I see this relationship continuing to grow for sure.
How does Rocker do in Orange County?
Everyone in Orange County wants to be a rock star and they think it's like a t-shirt, but it's really not. So it's funny. It works well.
And you're on a show with Will, right? That's coming out. Can you talk about that? Does Steven know about that? The new OC?
The new OC, yeah. So the new OC crew, me and Will created last year, and we have been launching billboards all over Orange County. We've launched our 9th billboard. The new OC crew is all about elevating others, diversity, the power of collaboration through these billboards, and we're taking them internationally. Like we're going to be launching our next billboard in Las Vegas, San Diego, and then all of it is kind of wrapped around like doing it with a cause and just honing in on different things. Like our last activation we did was called Breaking the Cycle, and it was pertaining to mental health, breaking generational curses.
So the drama is centered around billboards?
Yeah, it sounds silly, but it's some real organic drama. It's just kind of like
if Friends had like a
Will saying, think if Friends did a business together.
yeah,
I think business is where it brings out the most drama, honestly.
it's sickening. It's like, and
Anytime I
everybody's
try
ego.
to do business with my friends, we're not friends anymore.
No one's friends right now.
I'm better.
Everybody is in competition. We're all trying to be the number one like person, and they can't beat me. So I'm Jen Leberty, and like nobody can beat me. So I'm like, and I don't take selfies of myself. So, yeah, it's just
You
that's how
don't?
it is. No,
How
I don't.
come?
Because it's like too much work.
Even
and-
Steven takes selfies.
No, he doesn't. He takes pictures of his shoes.
It's fit. It's more fit pic.
Yeah.
I saw you were with Josh Denny. I know him from the LA comedy scene.
Josh is awesome. He's a good friend. When I come down, when he and I get together, we, because he's ginormous food, we go and get, gross food.
You like posted some food place.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to go to Chili John's. It was finally a time with a foodie. And I'm like, let's go to Chili John's. Oh, yeah, I love that place. So we went and it was good.
What restaurant does Ye like besides Nobu?
Chipotle
Yum.
Nice.
and McDonald's, but, definitely.
Yeah, he said McDonald's is his favorite restaurant. I didn't know if that changed since that tweet.
Yeah, no, he still likes McDonald's. Chipotle.
Yeah, he never talks about Chipotle.
Yeah, we would go to the one at Malibu.
Andy, do you want to ask Steven a question before we head out of here? Since you're an artist dealing with some internal conflict.
Well, has any?
Well, you'd have to come and share the mic with Jen.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm
No,
all.
no,
I'm
you-
like, wait, what?
I told my brother, if you come today,
No, he could have the seat.
Did
He
you
has
see
the
this,
throne.
by the way?
I did. It's so random.
It's just like,
It's like-
the one thing.
I've been studying color theory, and this is wrong.
yeah.
We're looking.
In many levels.
That's the problem with Ye's. Some of his fashion is that like my undertones are cool tone, and a lot of his stuff is warm tone. I look red when I put on like a nude top or something like
Emily
that.
always tells me I can't wear beige or else it just makes me look so
Well, I
ugly,
also told
so-
you don't wear the Punisher tee, and you wore it.
Well, I ran out of black t-shirts. I had to do laundry, so
He wore that at NFL Picture Day.
I didn't know there was like a weird affiliation with this shirt.
What do you mean? You don't want to go
Apparently
shoot
it's like-
ARs after this?
Did you know
Well, yeah,
about it,
it's like
Steven?
Of course.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. Right, NFL Network is me holding a football with the Punisher t-shirt on.
Beautiful. Do you
And
have
they-
it on the back of your
I have it.
F-250 or something?
I wish. I have it as my profile picture though for my job at work. So at my little cubicle that I have.
How
so-
do you like the cubicle? This is your first job ever having one.
Yeah, it's okay.
Did you personalize it?
I did the first year, but this year I'm just like, I don't really care that much.
Get a Punisher figure. Set him up in there.
Yeah, you should actually at this point.
I'll tell you a funny story. When Reebok did the anniversary of the Fury in Japan, it was very funny. And they recreated my office from 1993 at Reebok. I still had the action figures and the mug and the artwork I had hanging in my cube then. And I brought it with me in a little bag. And they're like, "What? Oh, Steven-san, what do you think of Office Space?" I said, "It's almost there." And I opened up the bag and I put up my pictures on the wall. And one of the things was a quote, "I'm a bitter and twisted person, but I find it helps in my work." And then the other one was Dr. Doom going, "No!" And then I had an action figure of Dr. Doom, and I had this little cowboy riding a big nut and bolt. And I had my Reebok mug, and I put all that out as the finishing touches. And they were like, taking pictures of it all and everything.
So like
I
the
mean,
most pimped out cubicle of all time.
yeah, there's a moment for it,
Yeah.
and it can inspire you, which is
Yeah.
good to get the fuck out of it.
You got fired from Nike. That probably was a really low moment. I just went through a really tough time myself, and I found that through those low moments, you can really find yourself and grow and be better for it. So would you say that was like a pivotal point in your career?
Yeah, because Nike was that dream of wanting to go work at the biggest and allegedly the best. That was the job that I could retire from. And it just totally fucking cut the legs out on me and blindsided me. I mean, I could smell it coming. Still, it's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And you kind of wake up from it, and you either drown in the misery or you fucking launch yourself into the next phase in the future beyond it. Like, oh yeah, again, watch this.
Yeah.
And so it was refreshing when Ye found me and empowered me to do that, to stick the knife in their back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, how you like it? You got the knife in your back now. You know, I'd been at the majors, and you go back down to the minor league, and then what do? You dwindle away, you retire, and all of a sudden you're put to the top.
Yeah.
That's what's cool. The reward finally came. You know, he calls me the alien design god from the future, and Nike called me a piece of shit.
What planet would you be on if you were an actual alien, you think?
Oh, which one did I come from? I can't remember.
You seem like a Mars guy.
You think so?
Yeah. A little fiery. Hidden beneath.
The angry red planet.
Well, I guess that's a little, maybe what's the angry or, well, yeah, that's the most angry planet.
That's the one. That was the call.
Stick with your intuition. Who's Mars? You think
Mars,
Steven's an
yeah.
angry guy ready to explode?
Well, on the phone call from Ye, the second night he called me again, and he was, you know, very polite. We talked about art, design, architecture, and halfway through it, he said, "Can I stop you for a minute?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I really didn't know what to expect. Like, had I blown this opportunity or what? And he goes, "Can I be honest with you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I want to fuck shit up." And I'm like, "All right, you got the right guy." And that was it.
Because you're both disruptors
Yeah, in our own ways, you know.
and you want to shake things up.
Well, the funny thing is, when we talked about it, we talked about our vision of the future and why didn't it happen? And we're like, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen together. And that's what we've done, you know.
And do you think that you're going to continue on that path? I know you guys are still working together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, every day, text each other every day, all day, all night. And it's magical, you know. If you look at it and you see how the industry has changed in the culture, in the sport era, it was Tinker and Jordan, and this era is me and him. You know, we're a perfect yin and yang for each other. It's been the best time of my life. Above and beyond the work, he's my friend, and that to me matters more than anything.
I think you DM'd me that once when
Yeah.
he was going through everything. And I think
Yeah.
I said something like, "Thanks for your support." And you said, "Why wouldn't I? He's my friend."
Yeah, I mean, and that's when friends need you the most, and you can see who really the ones who weren't his friends, who abandoned him. or denied them. And it's like, you need to stick with your friends when they need you the most. That's a real friend.
Thanks for the inspirational talk. I hope you have fun at picking up your new car. Please stay safe out there on the track.
Yeah, I'll try.
Don't have your phone on vibrate.
No, I don't bring the phone with me in the car.
Okay.
No distractions.
Thank you
It's something
to
Miles to drive or
Jen
something like that.
for the style
It's a good
and
show,
the outfit
I'll look
change.
for it.
You can find her shop at bohorockercollection.com and Instagram at bohorockercollection. It is Andy Hagen.
Andy Hagen _.
And
Punisher.
Punisher, yeah.
Thank you, Mayor of OC, for putting it together. And hopefully there's some new shoes coming out because I don't want to be barefoot forever.
I met Stephen Smith. I'm never gonna fail.